The goal of this project is to be able to count fish without having to bring them aboard, because today there's such a low level of yellowtails being allowed to be landed, and the government has the quota set so low that there's not enough to actually do a full-blown survey of yellowtail flounders to prove the biomass out there. So if you can take a net with a camera, go out and go through the fish and count them as they're going through the net rather than bring them on board, you can get the numbers you're looking for and still preserve the biomass of fish on the seafloor. The pilot study for SMAS on the yellowtail was done a few months back. We brought it together with just the general old survey net that was used for a previous survey, and we installed the cameras inside of a tube and went out and started towing, and every other tow we hauled back the net with the fish in it to count, and we were comparing notes to see how close we could get with the towed trawl versus the camera trawl. And we saw enough success from that pilot study to say that we wanted to do a full-blown survey for yellowtails with this camera. From the first day they went out on sea trial, they actually got some pretty good footage. One of the complications that came up was a lot of the sand cloud that was being developed from the actual trawl itself. So we sat down, or I sat down on the drawing board and said, okay, how can we modify this trawl to be better used for this type of survey? Because a standard trawl might not quite be designed the way it would be commercially, but it would be perfect to help get past the sand clouds and maintain more stability in the camera footage so you could count the fish. The difference with this design here is we're actually putting the camera against a dark background so that as the fish passes over that dark background, you can get an idea of its size and its species. Where if you just put a camera in a trawl with no background, you might see it go by and say, oh, that's just a flatfish or that's a roundfish, but not be able to identify if it's a cod or a haddock or a pollock. Some cases you can, but other cases when it goes by fast, you can't. Same with flounders. You can't tell if it's a blackback or if it's a yellowtail or if it's a fluke unless you can see the spots on it and the look of the shape of the fish. So having that black background that we're going to put under it, you'll be able to clearly identify the shape of the fish. Right now in the timeline, we're at the beginning stages. We've just finished the pilot study. We saw the proof of concept with that pilot study, and we proved that we can count fish at an accurate manner against an actual closed cod end. So now from here, we have got the nets being built, we're getting the cameras installed, and we're getting everything, all the sensors put into the gear so that we can go out here later this month, at the beginning of November, and actually start surveying the bottom. And it's going to be done in a continuous style, and mostly during the day, but possibly day and night, where it's going to 24 hours a day run the camera and tow the net. So we can definitely see and cover a lot more bottom than a traditional survey does.